Welcome to the first Converge conference. For me, it's a very big personal triumph, but for us as a company, I think this is a very important turning point and a beginning to the next chapter that we're kind of trying to get into. Content marketing focuses on creating, distributing valuable, relevant, consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience and ultimately to drive profitable customer interaction. What you need to take away from this is that there are various elements into what, how, and why content can deliver value. Does your target audience actually use engagement as a measure for whether or not they're going to buy your product? Start by getting a very clear understanding of the purpose behind what you're doing, the objectives behind what you're doing, the audience behind what you're doing, and then research, create, distribute, organize, optimize. I'm going to pretend that organize was intentional. And you should be successful in what you're doing.
Various trend reports, one of the things that stood out is that, and I think Cedric has said it really well, we are not the customer. So I am not the customer. In fact, that is, I think, Mark Ritson, a famous marketing professor, one of his laws that often the client or the marketing agency leader, director, person tends to use their individual judgment, and that's one of the first rules. When you join marketing, you're no longer like your client because you get paid to see this brand a certain way. I'm here to say, good people, some of the hardest working influencers, some of the most honest, open, and people who've cultivated the most engaged audiences are not dolled up, made up with a ring light and all the bells and whistles of content. They are in the margins. They are on the fringes. They are the people who you go like, but is that my target audience? You know, because you don't feel comfortable. And then you need to check yourself and ask, I'm not the consumer, that's the consumer. And this person gives them a bit of catharsis, a bit of release, a bit of entertainment. But this person is talking in vernacular. Yes.
For Queen Charlotte, what they primarily leaned towards was on the affinity. How do we align, how do they endear the audiences towards the brand? This is a great quote that Shonda Rhimes put in terms of how making the right choices gives you money. So she says shows with a more inclusive cast have more viewers and make more money, just as a basic point of view. They get more advertising dollars because you're reaching more people. We showed it was an economic model that was more profitable.
As part of making her the hero, Cortex gave her, women, a platform to express themselves, a platform to celebrate themselves, but also a platform to be vulnerable. And this is where the connection comes in. It's not about the brand. Like I mentioned in the beginning, they had a chance to talk about them. They had a chance to talk about their product, but they didn't. They wanted her to talk about herself. This is where Cortex is right now. They're the #1 fem care brand in both value and volume. They have grown their pages over the years from starting from zero to where they are right now. And from our partnership, they have won 3 Cannes Lions Awards.
Simple question. What is a vanity metric and what is an actual metric to you?
Not everything that can be measured is meaningful. Followers are a vanity metric. Engagement is the worst vanity metric.
For me, one of the vanity metrics that I usually look at is when it comes to activations. One of the things that are done from the marketing team afterwards, one of the things that will be reported is, okay, we had 10,000 flyers, how many flyers are remaining? We're told we are remaining with 2,000 flyers. We're like, okay, fine, so we're able to distribute quite a bit. That means nothing.
My favorite vanity metric on the digital landscape is impressions. And I see this, having included it in a report earlier today, I know that the brand is going to see, yeah, there were 3.1 million impressions, but I know that it doesn't really mean anything.
Ultimately, for me, the quality metric, or at least the way I look at it on my platform, is the number of actual people, the community that's been built, the buy-in that is there, the loyalty that is created, because those are the people who long-term will give you the conversions that you need.